Hi and welcome to the Small Holding. Today we're going to look at boredom busters for your chickens. Hi, my name's Fiona. Many poultry keepers need to keep their chickens in enclosed spaces all year round. We're normally free-range chicken keepers, but here in the UK we've currently got some avian influenza restrictions, and that means we've got a legal obligation to either keep our chickens indoors or in fully netted enclosures, and this is what we've done. Our chickens have been rehomed in polytunnel frames covered with bird netting and debris netting so that we're fully compliant. But that comes with some extra challenges. Because our chickens are now in a more restricted space, there's a danger they could become bored. And bored chickens can peck each other, they can pull feathers out of each other. So I wanted to show you what we've done to try and avoid that situation. We've added a number of boredom busters, and I think you'll be surprised at how simple those boredom busters are. Some of them are things we've found just lying around the small holding and we've repurposed them. Other things we have spent a little bit of money on, but I'll take you through them and hopefully it will give you some ideas of what you can do to make sure that your chickens don't become bored. All chickens are descended from jungle fowl, and jungle fowl climb and explore. And chickens, as a result, love to climb and they love to perch. Now, depending on the breed of chicken you've got, they'll be able to gain height to varying levels. We've got some Buff Orpingtons, which actually can't gain very much height at all. But we've also got some Old English pheasant fowl, which actually get quite high. And we've included a number of perches in their areas so that they can jump, climb, fly, just stay interested. And this is the first one I want to show you. Now, this one is clearly specially made and it's got a dual purpose because it actually covers their drinker. So I'm just going to tip that up and I think you can see the drinker underneath, and that's in line with the guidance for the UK avian influenza prevention. But our Old English pheasant fowl spend a lot of time on here. This is Halloumi, one of our Old English pheasant fowl, who's showing how she uses the perch on a daily basis. She absolutely loves being up this high. And here's an example of something we've repurposed. These are two old garden chairs. They couldn't possibly support my weight anymore, or Hugh's weight, but they can easily support the weight of a chicken. Now, the Buff Orpingtons have some of these too, and they love climbing on the seat and just sitting. But here in the egg layers area, the Morans and the cream leg bars climb onto the seat, jump on the back, and they'll sit up here on the backs of the chairs and preen all day. Now, another tip is that every couple of days I move these chairs to the other side of the enclosure. And the strange thing is, it's almost like the chickens have never seen them before. They've got a new toy to play with. So once you've set out your enclosure, you don't have to keep it that way and you don't have to buy anything new. Just move the things around that you've already got and the chickens will have a renewed interest. Here in the Orpington enclosure, they have much lower perches. This one was made from offcuts of wood from another project, but although they're not demonstrating it at the moment, they do love to congregate in this area, sit on the perches and just chatter away to each other in the way that they do. But when you want them to do things, they don't do it too cute. Do you, Rowan? She's just sat here. I was really hopeful she was going to jump up on this perch and show how they use it on a regular basis, but clearly not. You're not my favourite friend today, are you, dear? As soon as I leave the chicken enclosure, the two young cockerels decide to demonstrate the perch. So there's one on the lowest rung, one on the higher rung. But it's typical, they wouldn't do this while I was in there. If you're keeping your chickens in an outdoor enclosure, they're still going to be open to the elements, and that'll be wind, rain, sleet, hail, or even snow. Now, in those cases, it's important that your chickens have somewhere that they can get away from the worst of that weather. Of course, they've got their coop that they can go inside of, but that's going to be a bit crowded if they're all in there all day. They could hide underneath and get away from the worst of the rain. But we've opted to add these shelters, and it gives them something else to explore. So not only do they go inside when it's windy or it's raining, but they'll climb on top. We've seen them climb from the top of this to the top of the nest box, from the top of the nest box to the top of the coop, and they just explore and get as high as they possibly can to survey their kingdom. This is something else which I move around the enclosure on a regular basis, because every time it moves, again, just like the chairs, they think it's brand new and it's a new toy to play with. Food treats are always fantastic for chickens, keeps them occupied, they absolutely love them. And if you're a vegetable gardener, as we are, there's always some type of vegetable that we don't get to in time that's not great for us, but it's great for the chickens. What we do with those normally is we hang them up for the chickens to eat. Now in the UK, we are subject to avian influenza prevention regulations, so we've got to do everything we can to stop wild bird feces contaminating food. Because we've got a netted enclosure, we've added a sheet of clear polythene to one section in the polytunnel, and I don't know if you can see that. Well, it is clear, but I promise you it is there. And in the middle of that section, we've hung some paracord, a little bit of chain on the end for some weight, and this is what we use to hang the vegetables off. So I've got some chard which has gone over, and I'm just going to hang that up and let the Orpingtons have a treat. Even before I've finished hanging the chard, our chickens are trying to destroy it, tearing it to shreds. They do love chard. Now, every breed is different and every flock of chickens is different, but in general, we've found that spring cabbage, Savoy cabbage, goes down an absolute treat. Sprouts they love. Cauliflower they love. The only thing that we grow that they don't seem to like is kale. But we do have a friend whose flock of chickens destroy kale. Absolutely love it. The one thing that is a little bit disconcerting for us is we do grow some red cabbage. Now the chickens do like the red cabbage, but the first time they ate it got a bit of a shock the next day because it does tinge their poop a red colour. And I did wonder whether I had an ill chicken in the flock, but when they all started pooping red, I realised that it's the red cabbage. If you don't have a vegetable garden and still want to give your chickens something to hang up that's actually a little bit more entertaining to feed on, there are commercially made treats out there on the market, and this is one of them. They're fairly readily available. This is just compressed whole wheat and corn on a hanging unit, and I'm going to give this to the egg layers because they've missed out on the chard. This treat is just as popular with the egg layers as the chard was with Buff Orpingtons. The only downside with the chard was that it was eaten so quickly. Within an hour it had been absolutely destroyed, but it was free. This treat, however, cost me money. I had to buy it, but it will last at least 3 days in the egg layers enclosure, and it's incredibly popular, as you can see. Not everyone has access to fresh vegetables from the garden, and if that's you, this may be a perfect solution. This only costs a few pounds, a very small amount of money, and it's called a chicken ball. Now the idea is that you fill it with pellets. I've got layers pellets in here because that's what the chickens are eating, so I've not had to buy anything special, and pop it on the ground and the chickens peck at it and roll it around, and as they roll it around, the odd pellet falls out. They really have to work at it. I think you can see only 1 or 2 are actually coming out there, and they scoop them up immediately, but it keeps them occupied for hours on end and they love it. If you want to see how to buy one of these, I've put a link in the description to this video so you can get hold of one of these for yourself. This is the favourite toy of Lightning, one of our copper black Morans, and you can see her here pushing around the chicken ball. The chicken bowl holds Leia's pellets, and Leia's pellets are readily available in the treadle feeder, which she does use. And if she stands on the treadle, she's got access to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Leia's pellets. But Lightning much prefers to get 1 or 2 pellets at a time by pushing the chicken bowl around. She's not bored, she's totally engrossed and seems to really enjoy the activity. If your chickens are already pecking each other, or you're concerned that that's a risk, this could be a good solution. This is called a pecking pan, and it was designed by a company called Vencomatic working with Bristol University. It has a very hard surface underneath here, which as the chickens peck at it, it gradually, in a very natural way, wears away the ends of their beak so they're not as sharp. So should they peck another chicken, it's likely to cause less damage. Now, they were originally designed that food should be added on there and the chickens would peck at it. We actually use it as grit trays, and it has the same effect. We've used them for months in our free range areas, but we've now added one to each of the chicken enclosures just to give them something else to be interested in, but it also has that added effect of blunting the ends of their beaks just very slightly. Those are our boredom busters that we've put into play while our chickens are in these enclosed runs. You don't need to spend any money on this exercise. You could repurpose all sorts of things from your property, just as we've repurposed our broken garden chairs. As long as the chickens can climb up, sit down, or perch on it, they will want to explore and be happy. Even some old breeze blocks would do the job. I have seen someone who's repurposed a child's climbing frame because their kids have grown up, and the chickens seem to be incredibly happy. And don't forget, anything you do put in, move it every few days, and it will be like there's a shiny new toy that the chickens have never seen before. There are a lot of toys which you can buy, and I've seen on social media a child's xylophone which seems to be very popular with the chickens. They peck at it, make a noise, but the most popular toys for your chickens are always going to be food based. So anything that makes it interesting for your chickens to get food will always be popular. I have put some more ideas of things which we haven't actually got, but chickens will be very interested in. I've popped them into our Amazon storefront, so have a look there and see if that inspires you and gives you some ideas. If you have liked this content, take a moment, give me a thumbs up below. If you've got a question for me, or if there's another video subject you want me to make in the future, leave it in the comment section and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, or even make that video for you. And if you're not already a subscriber, come over and join us. Hit that subscribe button and the notifications icon, and you'll get to know of any new video as soon as we've made it and publish it. For now though, thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time.